everyone. My guess is that you have more aptitude for creativity than you think. For the longest time, I thought that I was not a creative person because I don't sing, or at least you don't want to necessarily hear it. I don't draw well. I don't do a lot of the visual arts particularly well at all. However, there is huge creativity in bringing together solutions for people in business. So what I thought I'd do is talk to you about what creativity is and the process of it, how you can improve it or think through it. I do actually have one practical tip on how you can improve your creativity in your business, whether it's a creative arts business like marketing or anything else. So the definition of creativity, or one of them, is it's a phenomenon whereby something new and valuable is formed. See, it can be a concept, it can be a tangible object, whatever it is. The very first step is preparation. I do think that sometimes we get in our jobs and don't always think about the preparation too much. On the other hand, you can get stuck in preparation. So there is a sweet spot on this one. This is where you are orienting to the problem, you're purposefully studying, you're acquiring and assimilating facts, knowledge. So you're really learning. So in a marketing example, let's say you're a marketing company and you have a new trial coming up in an indication you've never done before, like blood clot therapy or something like that. So now you have to learn the protocol to understand who's included and excluded, so you get a sense of it. You have to learn why people get blood clots so you can understand that target population, right? So that is some of the preparations. You're really learning, because in order to speak to somebody and be a successful marketer, you need to really understand how to drive your population, people to the ad. Now, a site example, I was thinking about clinical research sites or business in general. Maybe you want to start a new line of business in your company. In a site, it might be starting decentralized clinical trials, DCTs. It could be starting a new department. It could be starting vaccine trials and you hadn't done them before. It doesn't really matter what the business is. It's a new line of business. The preparation stage might include interviewing other people who do those things, researching it online, looking to see how it looks in terms of structure, staffing, processes, things like that. Now, the next stage is where we're going to get to really talk about a practical tip. The next stage is incubation, which is like the germination stage of something, where you kind of let it sit. And this is a hard step for people because they don't always like to let it sit. But without that, you can move ahead without having thought through or assimilate all the knowledge. So people say that when you sleep, or some of the research shows, when you sleep, your memory, your thought processes, they consolidate, they form, they really stick with you, and you're forming new thoughts sometimes. This is the same sort of thing. So at the incubation stage, basically, your studying's complete. There's nothing more you can do, and you have to put aside the whole thing and wait for inspiration. And this is why in his book, The Art of Thought, Graham Wallace said that it's actually better to work on several projects and move back and forth, so that, let's say you're working on this trial ad, or especially something bigger like starting a new line of business. You don't just want to go for a walk and call that the incubation period, or sleep on it one night. He says that it's better to just forget that project and move on to another project. And eventually an aha moment will come for one of the other projects. This means that you would kind of always have some projects going at the same time, because some projects are going to require more preparation and incubation than others. Perhaps preparing a trial ad only takes a couple of days. I'm making this up, right? But a new line of business could take a couple of months. And so by always having different projects you can go to, you can feel which one is the right one to go to at that moment. So that's the practical tip. After that, you have illumination. This is where inspirations flash through your mind. There's bursts of inspiration. You hear information you've heard before, but now you're actually bringing it into this idea. And this is where you start producing. So the market example, you're now thinking like the person who might have a blood clot, or get a blood clot, or the person who already has a blood clot, depending on what the trial is. You start thinking of visually compelling visuals and copyright, and you work on a first draft of the marketing plan. In the example of the new line of business, you have ideas for staffing and patient flow, and you bring together the managers and present the idea and the initial plan. That's the illumination. The very last one is verification. And this is rethinking so that the new idea is revised and improved. So with the marketing example, you might bring the ad, you might review it on yourself over a few days to see if you really think it speaks to the target audience. You might bring it to a marketing team. And then in the just example of a business that's bringing a new line of business, you're working through the process and the plan with the team to make it good. Now, after that, you get to process improvement, but that's operational. The creativity process is really thought to be these 4 steps. So I hope that helps you see how creative you are, whether you're in marketing, whether you're starting a new business, whether you're expanding your own business, whatever it is, your life probably too. How can you creatively think of new ways to generate happiness, satisfaction, whatever in your life? I hope this helps. Have a great day.